Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's OVLYR Live. Today we're going to be covering the top 3 stories of the day. Tesla just annihilated one of their competitors, and they're going to lose $4.5 billion because of it. Nobody is buying iPhones anymore. And lastly, if you still know a boomer that's on Facebook, that's about to change. Facebook is in for a world of hurt. Hey, welcome to OVLYR Live. Today, my name is Christopher Ewell, and I love talking about stocks and finding those outlier trades with outsized returns. And if you do too, be sure to definitely hit the subscribe button down below. And before I forget, today's episode is sponsored by OVLYR.com. Go to OVTLYR.com to find out why outliers win. Now, our top story of the day is this company is about to get murdered, or I guess I should say is murdered by Tesla. Ford is set to lose $4.5 billion on electric vehicles this year, despite increased revenue. And to go even further, they recently dropped the price of their electric F-150 Lightning truck. Well, let's be realistic here, people. Nobody wants to buy a Ford EV. Everybody wants to buy a Tesla EV. I showed the numbers a week or so ago here on OVLYR Live, but it was like Tesla was number one. Tesla was Model Y was number 1, Model 3 was number 2, and then everybody else below there didn't matter. Even the Tesla Model X and Model S were way down on the list. And Ford, I mean, they're getting smoked. I mean, you can see by the picture here, the CEO, Jim Farley, is not very happy about it. They released their second quarter financial results on Thursday, and they've lost $1.8 billion so far this year just on the Ford Model E. Oh, I'm sorry, the U.S.-based EV division is called Ford Model E, and they've lost $1.8 billion. So basically what they're saying is every time that you buy a Ford EV, they lose money. So go ahead and continue not buying them, and they will continue to be run into the ground. The projected $4.5 billion loss is over twice what the Model E's $2.1 billion loss was in 2022. Come on, people. We're talking about losing over $6 billion. Maybe Ford should just stick to selling the last of the dinosaur-fueled vehicles, because realistically speaking, they ain't got a chance against Tesla. Tesla started, let's call it 10 years earlier as far as figuring things out, and now Ford's having to spend billions upon billions upon billions of dollars losing money hand over fist on every single vehicle, and that's not even helping with demand by lowering the prices of these vehicles. So let me know in the comments down below. I'm very bearish on Ford. In fact, if we go to the chart on Ford, you can see it's given up quite a lot recently. Ford is not looking so good. In fact, this morning it's opened down about 2.5%. But its competitor Tesla, while it's also been hit, in fact, has a buy signal inside of the OVLYR platform. So if you are looking for an investment to put your money in, I can't give you any investment advice, but I will say that Tesla is looking incredibly much stronger than Ford does, and it looks like it's going to be that way for a while. So if you like that, hit the like button down below, or let us know. Put in the comments down below, where do you see Ford going? Do you see them continuing to lose? Do you see them continuing to fall? Or do you think that at some point soon they will get their act together and start making some improvements? Let us know down below, and let's get right into our next story. If you're just tuning in, my name is Christopher Ewell, and I love talking about stocks and finding those outlier trades with outsized returns. And if you are interested in that too, be sure to definitely hit the subscribe button down below. And before I forget, today's episode is sponsored by OVLYR.com. Go to OVTLYR.com to find out why outliers win. Apple heads for the largest third quarter revenue drop since 2016 as iPhone sales slow. Ain't nobody buying iPhones anymore. And let's be realistic here. Why would they? I mean, honestly, we haven't seen any innovation inside of the iPhones other than, maybe square corners instead of rounded corners, maybe moving some buttons around. I mean, this block that we've all gotten accustomed to, this piece of glass, has not changed, realistically speaking, in nearly a decade. Maybe some components here or there. Maybe we've got a couple new chips inside there. But realistically speaking, I can see why nobody's buying them anymore. Their innovation has stagnated. their reputation for the best quality products out there still exists, but people have been used to those products for so long that they don't want to buy them anymore. Why do I need to go drop $1,000 on a new iPhone 14 when my iPhone 13 or my iPhone 12 or my iPhone 11 or 10 or whatever still works just about the same as an iPhone 14? Let's be realistic here. If Apple's actually making products that people want, they will continue to grow. But there's only so much market saturation we can get to, and I think that's where Apple is at right now, is they have saturated the market so much with their smartphones, which was great, right? Let's be realistic here. Apple saturating the market with their smartphones made the whole smartphone industry better. But now they need something new, and I can bet you that is not going to be made up with their new AR goggles. Nobody's going to be buying those $3,500 monstrosities, and they're certainly not going to be walking around with them. In fact, OVLYR had a sell signal on Apple back on July 13th. And if we take a look at the Apple chart right now, we can see it's down about 1% after earnings. And it's definitely been really strong, but it looks like the trend has finally hit a wall. In fact, probably looks a lot like their iPhone sales. They've been really strong for years, and now it's hit a wall. And you know what? Everybody who's going to buy an iPhone has already bought an iPhone. So I don't think that they have much more room to grow in the iPhone sector until they make something new, right? Let's see some new products here. So like the video if you agree that, hey, you know what? Apple, their phones are great. I use an iPhone. I've used an iPhone for a long time. But I will say, it's the same phone as it ever was. Every time there's an upgrade, I'm excited about it. I get the phone, and then I look at it, and I'm like, oh, it's basically the same as my old phone. Oh, well, at least I got a new phone, right? That's probably been the same for you whenever you've upgraded as well. So hit the like button down below, and let's go to our final story of the day. Hey, if you know any boomers who are still on Facebook, I would bet they're looking to get off of it because Meta has started removing news from Instagram and Facebook in Canada. And realistically speaking, that could be happening anytime soon across all countries. And if you're just tuning in, my name is Christopher Yule, and I love talking about stocks and finding those outlier trades with outsized returns. And if you're interested in that too, be sure to definitely hit the subscribe button below. And today's episode is sponsored by OVLYR.com. Go to OVTLYR.com to find out why outliers win. So how many of you, realistically speaking, younger generation people are still on Facebook, right? You may still be on Instagram. I believe Instagram may have the highest user count, second to Facebook. But young people aren't using these platforms anymore. So when they're removing the news from these platforms, that gets my mind thinking. If they're removing news, which is what the old people are all interested in, right? They're still watching cable news. They're still tuning into the 5 o'clock news. But they're also still getting their news inside of their news feed, you know, probably leaning heavily one direction or another. But inside of their news feed, they're probably still looking at the news feeds and actually getting real news inside of a news feed. I bet at this point they're thinking, I don't need to be on Facebook anymore, right? If Facebook is not going to show me what I want to see, I'll just go out to Fox News. I'll just go out to MSNBC. I'll just go out to those sites and look at the news itself, because it's certainly not going to be brought up in my feed, right? And then looking at the outlier data, we actually got a sell signal back on July 5th for Facebook. And if we look, or I'm sorry, for Meta, if we look at it right now, same thing as we've been talking about with Apple. Been going up for so long, and now it looks like it finally hit a wall. So yeah, I would really like to know down in the comments down below, are you still using Facebook? I know I'm not. I haven't used Facebook in ages at this point. The only reason that I still use Facebook is because some of my wife's friends connect to her on there, and so you know what, they'll connect to me, and so it's like denied. I don't know you. But if you're still using Facebook, hit the like button down below, and please let us know in the comments, are you going to be using Facebook even though they're removing news? Now I know this is just in Canada for now, but who's to say that they won't start doing this on every country, right? Canada wants them to pay their publishers, and this could potentially be happening in other places. And when a company pulls out, when Facebook drops them in Canada, they may just decide to pull out across everything that Facebook has. And then Facebook won't even have news feeds or have any news inside of the news feed to show you. So if they're dropped from Facebook Canada, MSNBC may say, you know what, I'm not going to even put anything out on Facebook US or Facebook Australia or Facebook anywhere else. Because what's the point? Facebook doesn't clearly want us here. We're going to be going to another platform. Could be X, could be the Twitter platform, could be something else. So let me know down below if you like that story, or if you like Facebook, or if you like what's happening to Facebook, because I know a lot of people are over Facebook. So today we talked about how Ford is getting demolished and is going to lose $4.5 billion this year on top of $2 billion last year by Tesla. Apple, nobody's buying their phones anymore. And finally, Meta has removed news, and I guess that means all the boomers who are still on it, they got to go too. Thank you so much for tuning into today's OVLYR Live. Be sure to come back tomorrow where Mahesh will be talking about his stock picks of the day. Have a great day, and we'll see you then.